Fascinating cover from about 1926, I think it is. Lansbury's Labour Weekly, a written publication that was published by John Lansbury, one of the early Labour MPs, who was full of well, yeah, I'm sure he was well intentioned, but it was full of praise for the sort of communist, socialist system of Russia, etc. Everyone, a lot of people seemed to think it was fantastic in those days. It was all going to be wonderful, fair play to the common man and everybody, and money was going to be no need for money anymore. The state was going to look after you. Your property would be managed by the state. Nobody would own any properties. Everyone would be equal. It just forgets the fact that human beings have that instinct of hoarding, greed, corruption. They want to keep things for themselves. It's never really going to work, is it? And that's really what happened in the communist states like Russia and China, etc. Still goes on, and the sort of the way that things have gone here with the Labour Party. My God, I grew up in a Labour house, but never vote for them again. Never vote for any of the mainstream parties. They've destroyed the British culture. Or they've wiped us out. They've just allowed everybody to flood into the country from every part of the world, and we don't really have London, where I live now, is just like foreign occupation. So forget the mainstream parties, but I'm sure John Lansbury was a well-meaning man, but unfortunately it's a bit naive to think that humans can overcome that instinct of greed and hoarding and wanting things. So anyway, the International was sung by Mr. Rufus John, who was in fact John Goss, the brilliant baritone who did sea shanties and folk songs and classical tunes. He produced, he really had an interesting output on 78 RPM. Unfortunately, because of his left-wing affiliations, and he was going under the alias Mr. Rufus John here, he was he was an early cancel culture victim, and in Canada he was his visa was withdrawn, and because he'd lived there for a long time, had quite a successful career. But unfortunately, he couldn't find any work there in the end. They all ganged up on him. They tried to go to America. They wouldn't. They kicked him out of America. Came back to Britain, broke, and died. He was only about 60 when he died. He died young and in poverty because his career had dried up because because unfortunately he'd become sort of branded a sort of communist socialist maniac. But it was a damn good baritone, so it doesn't really matter about his politics. I just love his music. Let's have a listen.
unite the human race. Then comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The international unites the human race. Then comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The international unites the human race. Then comrades, come rally, and the last fight let us face. The international unites the human race.